Down the results of this latest primary, Lewis Turner sat down with First Coast News political analyst John Daigle.
Hi, welcome in. As this afternoon, we're kind of in the wake of the Florida primary, the presidential preference primary we had here across the state, and we've got our political expert and analyst John Daigle in-house. And let's talk about the Florida primary here this afternoon. And what do we learn? You know, voter turnout a little on the lower side across the state of Florida, but there's still something to be learned from this. What'd you take away?
Well, obviously it was a great night for both former President Trump and President Biden. They both won impressive landslide victories, but there were also some dark clouds on the horizon when you look underneath those landslide victories.
So let's talk dark clouds. Let's look out on the horizon. And you mentioned percentages this go-round versus previous go-rounds and previous cycles for former President Trump.
I mean, if you're looking at the Trump campaign, if you look at 4 years ago when he was a sitting president in Florida, he took 94% in the primary and easily won. Fast forward 4 years later, yesterday, he took in the low 80s with Haley and DeSantis taking about 15%. That's a problem because those are his core, most Republican, most ardent supporters, and he's got to fight over about 15% of that Republican base.
And looking ahead to November, you had mentioned a couple of other things down ballot that could impact Florida being maybe a little more purple because it had been red the last couple of go-rounds.
You know, the last few cycles, the last 8 or 10 years, Florida has been a very red state. Right. This fall, there's a couple things that might be on the ballot. They're still working, but legalizing recreational marijuana and possibly a ballot initiative about abortion. Those things could bring out a lot of voters who don't normally come out for presidential races, and that could change the dynamics a lot. It might give the Republicans a little bit more work to do in Florida this fall.
So yeah, with primary season now behind us, we look ahead to the general and into November. And as we do that, of course, we'll be leaning very heavily on our expert, John Daigle. Thank you, John, for your time. We'll get back to you.
Well, now that the primaries are done in Georgia and Florida, all eyes are shifting to the general election, and you can find key dates, including when to request or mail in your ballot, within this story in the First Coast News app.